we have some breaking news. Now, we are hearing this from everywhere kind of except the Canes. But Elliot Friedman has tweeted it out. Frank Saravalli has tweeted it out. John Buccigross has tweeted it out. So these are some of the reporters for different organizations that cover the NHL as a league saying that defenseman Jalen Chatfield of the Carolina Hurricanes is signing to stay with the Carolina Hurricanes for 3 years. $3 million per year. So it is a $9 million 3-year contract for Jalen Chatfield, which means he will not be testing the market on July 1st. And my response, this is well played by everybody.
Thank you. If this is true, I absolutely love it.
I don't know who's calling the shots necessarily for the Canes. Again, they don't have a GM, but if it's Eric Tolsky, the interim GM, if it's Tom Dundon, the owner, if it's Rod Brind'amour who's calling the shots, whoever it is, this is well done. This is well done for this reason. You say 3 years, $3 million for Jalen Chatfield. Based on how much he's played, how well he's played, and the chemistry he built last year with Dmitry Orlov. So I'd say the entirety of the last 2 years for him. This is not a team-friendly deal, right? This is not the Canes bullying him into anything. This is not him taking a team discount. But it is also, I wouldn't say the most he could possibly get on the open market, right? I mean, if he got into a bidding war situation or teams desperate for defensemen were in the mix, I think he would have gotten more. Not saying that was ever going to happen or possible, but I think he could have gotten more. And this is kind of what a good negotiation looks like. It happens in timely fashion. Both sides are reasonable. And you get to a conclusion well before any kind of deadline or drop-dead date that you need to avoid. This is well played on all accounts. I criticize the Canes when maybe a front office decision doesn't align with how I think it should. You got to be fair. You got to be accountable. You have to look at this one and say, this is big for the Canes. Because look at it now. Your top pair is going to be Slavin and Burns, right? That's just kind of the way it is when you have somebody like Slavin who has the type of chemistry they do with Burns. Your next pairing, if Pesce and Shea are both out of town, which many of us expect will happen just due to the fact that they're going to get a ton of money, your second pairing becomes Dmitry Orlov, your big free agency signing from last year, over $7.5 million a year, Dmitry Orlov, and now Jalen Chatfield, who he played with for most of this year. Your third pairing, if you trust Scott Morrow, the just signed an entry-level contract not long ago, did get into a couple games at the end of the year, but he was one of the best defensemen in the NCAA college hockey ranks this past year. If you trust him and everything that we've heard about him being pro-ready is true, then you slide him into probably your sixth defenseman slot. You just need to fill that fifth defenseman slot who will skate with Morrow and can help develop him. I'm thinking a veteran that will be cheaper than either Shea or Pesce. Maybe less term. Maybe you find someone that's willing to go on a 1 or a 2 year deal. I don't know. That's the last question on the defense. So with so many questions in the forwards, right, you're going to have to likely replace Jake Gensel. You're going to have to likely replace Teuvo Teravainen. You might have to replace Martin Necas, although you'd hope to do that with whatever you get back in a trade for Martin Necas. You have to set up a long-term deal for Seth Jarvis. With all of that being played, knowing that you have Jalen Chatfield for the next 3 years at $3 million is comforting, right? It is something that you understand, you don't have to worry about, and you can now turn your attention to obviously more pressing issues. 3 years, $3 million. Again, like I said, I'm not sitting here thanking Jalen Chatfield, right? This isn't somebody who wants to play their entire career in Carolina. This is actually a kind of a big payday for Chatfield. He's a guy that came out of nowhere. This is not a first-round pick. This is not a guy that was at the top of all the prospect rankings. This is a grinder that, just got $9 million guaranteed.
But to me, I feel like he certainly deserves it.
If he wanted to put, if Chatfield, because of his background, because he didn't have the big money as a draft pick or anything like that, if he wanted to go do everything he could to hit the open market, or if he wanted to fight tooth and nail for every cent, I wouldn't necessarily hold it against him, right? I kind of, in professional sports, I kind of am okay if you want to be greedy, like extra greedy, one time in your career, right? Like, go get the life-changing money. Go get the money that makes sure your kid's college education is paid for, even if they want to go out of state. Like, go get the money once, and then start looking towards like career longevity and right your next contract. It's, do I want to retire here? Quality of life in the area. So if Jalen Chatfield wanted to go press and be more difficult, that would have been fine. But it turns out he didn't have to. The team gave him a fair deal. 3 years, $3 million. Again, this is according to a whole bunch of different sources have this, but John Buccigross, Frank Saravalli, let's see here, Elliot Friedman, they all had it. And you know what else is good for Chatfield? I believe he's kind of at that 27, 28 years old threshold. That means he's going to go ahead and be 30, 31 when he hits the free agency market again, which gives him another bite at the apple if he continues to improve, if he continues to play lights out for the Canes in a very challenging system. He'll have another opportunity to go get a bunch of cash before his career's up.
He definitely has a lot to prove in his career, and he's going to certainly have a long career in the NHL. You just hope he can do a majority of it with the Carolina Hurricanes. But going back to what I was saying about how I feel like he deserves it, when you think back, and I'm not trying to bring up any bad memories, think about how many times the Carolina Hurricanes got beat to a puck by the New York Rangers or it was a breakaway. One guy that would always get back and do everything he could to stop the Rangers from scoring when he was on the ice was Jalen Chatfield.
Yep.
He's fast.
He's
really fast, and that's what you need as a defenseman.
And because of that, he obviously you want credit for, like, to get 8 goals, which is a step up for him, and he can probably even be more aggressive there. But he does so much that's not on the stat sheet.
Yeah.
Dmitry Orlov, for everything that Orlov does well, does have a few moments where he gets out of position or he gets a little lock-legged, and Chatfield being behind him and covering up, even if it's just a kind of dissuading a player from making a pass because they're worried that Chatfield might be able to get there. That's something that slows down an attack that isn't on nobody's stat sheet, but Chatfield does it. So I'm very pleased with this. Like I said, we'll wait for I'll let you know when the official kind of agreement comes out. But that is good news for Canes fans.